Hey everyone, Steven here, and today I'm looking at an uninterruptible power supply unit from Goldenmate. This isn't a product I typically would review, but
with all the tech that I have in my office, mainly an expensive PC, I'm always concerned with any type of power loss to my house. Now I'm coming up on storm season where I live, and with that, during the summer, I also have high winds in this area, which can knock out the power. And I have a surge protector, but that doesn't provide battery backup like this thing does. So with this, if I was to lose power, this will allow my PC to continue to operate for a while so that I can save any files that I'm working on, close out apps, and then turn off the PC safely versus it just all of a sudden goes out. And so this solution with this UPS from Goldenmate here provides a battery backup so that I don't have to stress and worry about the storms and the wind or anything like that. I know I am covered and I'm not just going to automatically lose power to my PC. So with this, let's quickly cover the specs for this version, and then I'll talk about the larger options that they have as well. But here we have the 1000 voltage amperes or 800 watt lithium phosphate battery. This is 25.6 volts at 9 amps. We have the 230 watt hour lithium phosphate battery in this, so this is not a lead acid battery. You do not need to replace this. This is just a single use battery, and this will last 5,000 plus cycles, and this comes with a 5-year warranty. Here the charging time is less than 10 hours from 0 to 100%. AC input is 90 to 140 volts at 50 to 60 hertz. Overcurrent protection 250 volts at 15 amps. AC output 120 volts at 60 hertz. Backup time less than 30 minutes at 400 watts at 25 degrees Celsius. I'm going to go over those numbers here in a little bit because that is important. So you're getting 30 minutes of backup time basically at half the advertised wattage. So if you're just using 50% of the full load capacity of this, you will get 30 minutes. If you use the full amount, you're only going to get 15 minutes. So some calculation needs to be made with how much are you going to actually be plugging into this thing, and then at its peak, what is it going to actually be using? Noise at 1 meter, this is less than 40 decibels. I actually don't even hear this thing when it's running because my PC is louder and it's closer to me. So unless this is really close to you, I don't think you're going to hear this thing at all. In regards to the noise too, primarily that's coming from the fan, which is their heat dissipation mode for this. Efficiency is greater than 89%. Harmonic distortion less than 5%, conversion time less than 20 milliseconds. They say on the site 8 to 20 milliseconds. So conversion time here is once the power goes out, how quick can this click in and you are now running your devices off of the battery, basically sub 20 milliseconds, which is really fast. And then the weight here is 12.13 pounds. Some of the other physical features of this: on the front, you do have an LCD display that tells you the input and the output as well as the battery level. You can silence the beeping because once this switches over to the battery, if there's any issue, this will beep, but you can turn that beep off if you want to. This has 8 outlets, and then it has a built-in battery management system with over 20 protections and warnings. And for the physical dimensions, this is 12.99 inches long, 5.84 inches tall, and 4.13 inches wide. And for the size differences here, Goldenmate has a really nice table that you can look at, and it tells you the suitable scenarios here, key devices, and then the ideal users with that. And so here we have the 2000 voltage amps. One is at 600 watts, and then the one I have here for the review is the 800 watt. And then you have 2 at 1500 voltage amps. One's at 1000 watts, and then the other one is at 1200 watts. And the largest size here is going to be 2000 voltage amps at 1600 watts. And something else to keep in mind outside of the suitable scenarios and the key devices here, let's say you had just a gaming PC. If you do go with a larger size, that does mean a larger battery, so you can potentially get more time in regards to just running off the battery with the device compared to a smaller one. In regards to setup, this is extremely quick and easy to do. Just plug this in, and then I plugged my PC and my monitor into this. Those are the only two things that I really want protected and to run off battery if I was to lose power. I really don't care about keeping the speakers and the lights and stuff that I have on the wall and on my desk. I don't need those extras. I really just need the monitor and the PC. I will say with this, I currently have it sitting on the carpet. I can line it up so that it's on one of the legs of my stand-up desk. So if I don't need to actually read the front screen there, which that really is only something you would need to look at once the power does go out, so you can see where you're at with your battery and all of that, or if you're getting a warning because something's going wrong. So I'm probably going to shift it there for now. But sitting next to this, I have the subwoofer for my speaker system that I have sitting on a piece of wood that I just spray painted black. I may actually just get a longer piece of wood and spray paint that black and then put this next to that. That way I can still actually see the screen and it won't be covered up by the desk leg. For now, the way it's set up is just fine, but that is something that I'm most likely going to do. But the other option here is just setting this on your desk. That's not something I want to do just because my screen is 45 inches and it's taking up most of my desk. So having something else on the desktop just doesn't quite appeal to me. But for those that do have the desk space for it, that is another option for you that's quick and easy to do as well. Now, thankfully, I haven't actually had to utilize this yet, but I do like the peace of mind that I do now have with this device being a backup just in case the power goes out at my house. Now, I did test this by simply pulling the plug on the Goldenmate, and I want to take a moment to appreciate the look on my face when checking to make sure that everything was still running here, because even though I know this should all work, I was still a bit nervous with pulling the plug myself. But this instantly clicked over to the battery backup with a seamless transition. I also forgot I ended up plugging in my speaker to this, so I have my PC, monitor, and speaker with a total power draw of about 300 watts, which you can see on the LCD screen. So this is where you will want to calculate out the total power draw of the items you plan to have plugged in, so you know which battery backup size to get, and then the amount of time that you're actually going to get out of that once it actually ends up being used because you have the power go out on you. Now, there are calculators for this online, but just a quick calculation based on Goldenmate's 30 minutes when using 400 watts, I should get roughly 35 to 40 minutes of backup power off of a full charge if the power was to go out, which is plenty of time to get everything turned off if I needed to, or in certain instances, just bridge the gap between when the power shuts off and comes back on, as it might only last a couple of minutes with that power loss. I also wanted to do a quick sound test on the beep and fan, so let's take a listen. Now that beep you can turn off, as I mentioned earlier, and that fan noise is very minimal. So here I can't even hear it when it's going because my PC fans are much louder. So that is going to wrap this one up. I think Goldenmate has a great UPS here with a ton of sizing options to suit your needs and give you a peace of mind when it comes to a range of electronics not losing power immediately at your house, camper, trailer, RV, or business. I will have a link for this in the description if you want to pick it up. Check back frequently for sales because they do run those quite often. If you have any questions about this that I didn't answer in the video, let me know in the comment section. If you like the video, hit the like button for me as it helps the channel out. If you want to continue to follow along with all my content, hit the subscribe button for me. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.